Welcome back. This is the Sky Files. The Dyatlov Pass Incident. Between February 1st and February 2nd, 1959, 9 hikers died in mysterious and enigmatic circumstances in the Ural Mountains of Russia, at a place called Dyatlov Pass. What exactly happened? After these 9 hikers, who were extremely tough, experienced, and capable hikers who did these kinds of trips regularly, were not heard from after a couple of weeks, a search party was sent out to find them. What awaited them still puzzles the world today. The Soviet authorities investigated to determine the causes of the Dyatlov Pass incident, but it closed after 3 months, concluding that a compelling natural force had caused the death of the hikers. In the absence of survivors, the sequence of events on the night of February 1 and 2 is unclear to this day, and has led to countless more or less fanciful theories, from murderous Yeti to secret military experiments. The complete lack of physical evidence has left them, and us, scratching our heads. The lead investigator of this case, who was a very clever man by all accounts, resigned in frustration and out of a sense of moral outrage when they would not accept his findings that something had come from the air, assaulted the hikers, and had left the same way. He resigned from the investigation, swearing to his grave that was the only possible explanation to this unbelievable set of circumstances. While some new narratives have been offered forward, none of them are conclusively proven. Yet, there is an overwhelming amount of information which points toward a definite cause, one which supports the lead investigator's findings. In the days preceding their trip to Dyatlov Pass in the Ural Mountains, aka Mount Don't Go There, so named for its unerring reputation as a place where people go but do not return, several glowing orange orbs were witnessed up on the mountain by the nearby residents for no discernible reason. Helicopters were ruled out for how closely they were flying to the mountain in a snowstorm and the strange orange-colored light which they emitted. What the investigators found is that tents were cut open from the inside. People had fled in the middle of the night, without clothes, without gear, without others, as though something had happened to all of them in a sudden panic. There were strange physical effects, such as burns which were consistent with radiation, strange orange and white discoloration of the skin, extremely traumatized expressions, the tongue missing from one of the victims, and even broken bones without any signs of outward visible trauma. Not a single outside track or trace of predator or any kind of animal was found. Scavengers had not touched the remains of the hikers. This is not the first time that injury or death has been associated with the appearance of glowing orange orbs. There have been several reports collected in archives like MUFON's case files, which report an aggressive and brutal experience with these crafts and the beings which inhabit them. In one case file, a couple were hunting in the woods with their dogs when a couple of orange spheres went whizzing by them at a high rate of speed into the woods. The dogs ran after the orbs, and then there was whimpering heard, and then silence. Going after their dogs, they found that they had been killed in extremely gruesome fashion, with no trace of the orbs around any longer. A man reported in another case file that he was driving down the road at night when he saw one of these orange orbs parallel to the highway ahead of him. He followed the orb out of curiosity, and the next thing he knew, he found himself driving hours away from where he lived, experiencing missing time, having a severe nosebleed, and several bruises. He also reported having what he considered to be light radiation sickness, and he wasn't quite right for a while after that. Yet another incident from a case file involved a female who witnessed one of the orange glowing orbs and remembered her experience as one which was terrifying and brutal. She remembered the beings which operated these craft. She described them as large, brown, spiky, insect-like beings, and very brutal to humans. She said that they manhandled human beings, pushing, shoving, throwing them around, grabbing them roughly, and performing some strange kind of painful examination, which left large triangle-shaped bruises on her arm and her shoulder. She was extremely traumatized by her experience, and this seems to be a common theme by those who have interacted with these crafts during my own case file investigations and reading the others. There is definitely a connection between glowing orange orbs and physical harm coming to human beings and other creatures. If you see one of these crafts, do your best to avoid it. Do not be caught alone around them, if possible. Be somewhere there are lots of people, and whatever you do not follow the object, or attempt to get closer to it if you can. While you may be tempted to take pictures of the object, understand that for some reason, they notice that you notice, and this makes them interested in you. Do so at your own peril. This type of craft receives the highest caution rating. Anomalous craft, orange orbs. Occupants, brown insect-like extraterrestrial. Disposition, aggressive, violent, poacher. Agenda, unknown, medical, clinical. Experiences, abductees report deaths of animals, missing time, severe bruising, bloody nose, mild radiation sickness, ontological shock. Course of action, avoid at all costs. Do not follow, engage, or acknowledge their presence. Leave the scene, find other people and shelter immediately, and warn others entering the area to do the same. This has been the Sky Files. Consider yourself informed.